In this video, we're going to cover the customer portal and how you can configure it to meet your needs. The most important question that people often have on the customer portal is, what can my customers see when they log into the customer portal? And they'll run through a bunch of tests, creating sample customers and things like that to try to get a feel for what their customers will see. I'm here to answer those questions for you right now. First of all, to launch the customer portal, you can always do it from your name, customer portal, and it'll launch the customer portal in a new browser tab. So there you can see customer portal. Here are the different parts of the portal. Here you can search for items on the portal. Here you can click to add new tasks or tickets or anything that you've enabled. You can filter your items by all items, just the items you submit, and so forth, by their status. So if you want to just see open or closed within specific projects and so forth. So these are all different filters that you can enable or disable. And if you click on a specific ticket or task or any of the items published on the portal, you can see things like the details, a description. You can create new threads. You can see any attachments that are on it, and so forth. So this is a way of getting at the details of a specific ticket. Now let's talk about what you can configure for this. Inside your main OneDesk application, if you're an administrator, you'll see an administration icon. It's also found up here under administration. You click that, and near the bottom you'll see 3 pages related to customer portal. Customer portal is the first one, appearance, and forms. Appearance allows you to do things like adjust the colors, put a different language, a custom language on your website instead of English. It allows you to generate the snippet to insert on your website. This puts the side tab on your website, and it's got a bunch of configuration options here. They're all pretty self-explanatory. They have little explanations next to them. You can modify these, where do you want it placed, what word do you want it to use, and so forth. There's some documentation here if you want additional details. The forms allows you to modify the form that the user sees when they click add new, for example, a new ticket. This form can be modified here. Here, as you can see, we have a task and a ticket form, and I can expand my ticket form, and I can see the configuration options for this form. The things I can do here is I can change the title, I can change the subtitle, I can delete it if I don't want it at all, I can add and remove properties to the form, including custom properties. I will have first have had to create those custom properties on my tickets application up here, but once those custom fields are added at the all projects level, I can then add them to the form. So you can select something and you can add it to the form, and it will be displayed on the form. You can change what the word that is next to it on the form. So for example, in this particular form here, I say subject, I say description, I say priority, and those are the exact same words that I have here. So if I change this to priority, I change the text here, then when I refresh my form, you'll see I have changed the label right there. So all that to show you that you can modify the text there. You can add and remove properties. If I want to remove priority, I can remove it there, and so forth. If I don't want the form to appear at all, I can delete the entire form. I'll show you an example of that with the task form. Here on the task form, if I only want to ask for tickets on my customer portal, I can then click delete. Yes, and now when I go to my customer portal, let me go to my customer portal here, then I only have my ticket form. So it's very easy to modify those things here. You can also send people directly to your forms without having to go through the customer portal. Some of our customers prefer to just have a form that their customers fill out. You can provide them with the link here, and they'll complete this form, and they don't have to go through the customer portal at all. So it's sort of a one-way submit a ticket form. That's forms, that's appearance. Now to get to the main question, which is what can the customer do on the portal? What can they see? To do that, you select the customer portal tab up here, and you can see here is a link to your customer portal. Here's where you deactivate your customer portal if you don't want to use that at all. I'll show you that actually. Deactivate the customer portal. Now when I go to it, I get a message saying that it's deactivated. Reactivate it, and I can make further modifications here. View previously submitted items is a pretty basic control. It allows you to turn off the list. So if I turn this off and I go here, you can see there's no list of things. It's uncommon to want that on while still having an active portal, but still it is possible. Submitting new items, you have three options. You allow your visitors to submit new items never. So you set it to never, they'll never be able to submit new items. There'll be no form for that and no button on the customer portal to submit that. When logged in means that they'll see that button and be able to submit tickets when they're logged in. And when not logged in means you don't require them to be logged in for them to submit. However, when you choose this option, the form will ask them for their email address and will require that for them to submit the form. So those are your three options. Now, what can the visitor do on the portal? They can register themselves, follow items, or see the status of items. See the status of items, follow items, they're pretty self-explanatory. I'll turn them both on. I'll show you where they are. Here is the follow button, and here is the status. If I turn these off, and I refresh my portal, you'll see those things are gone. So now they can't follow items and they can't see the status of items. You can turn them off independently or however you want. Register themselves means that the customer can sign up. They'll see the registration link, and if they visit your portal for the first time, they can sign up and start using the portal. However, if you don't want this to happen, uncheck this box, and that will mean for your customers to be able to use the portal, you'll have to add them under the customers application over here, and then invite them in the same application. Here we have the filters to show on the panel. As you can see, there's three kinds of filters. There's the item type filter, there's the project filter, and the status filter. Those are also pretty self-explanatory. They allow these filter categories to appear on the side. So these ones at the top, filters for all items, my items, and unfollowed and followed items, those are always there. The knowledge base article, these ones by type, by knowledge base article, tasks, tickets, these type ones are controlled by the type checkbox, and this by project by the project checkbox, and this by the status checkbox. So as you might expect, when I uncheck these, I'll uncheck two of them to give you an example, and I refresh the portal, we have much fewer options. Only by status is available here on the side. So it controls what filters are available to your customers. This note is important to understand. It says the filter options will only appear when a visitor has results for that filter. So what that means is that open, closed, and pending agent are the only statuses that I have here, not necessarily because those are the only statuses that exist for tickets, but because those are the only ones that I would have results for. All right, now, the meat of the question are what items can the visitor see on the portal? First of all, do you require login to see items? This is quite common. It comes by default unchecked, just so that when you try out your portal, you'll see some stuff for the first time. But if you require a login to see items, this is also a common change to make right at the beginning. And finally, what would you like them to see? This is the number one rule you will have to determine. By default, it's set to all published items for the exact same reason, so that you see some stuff when you first try playing around with your OneDesk account. However, it's highly likely you'll want to make a change to this. For example, the simplest one is just to restrict it so customers only see their own requested items. That means that for a customer, if they are tagged as the requester of a specific ticket, and that's probably because they requested it or because you set them as a requester, then they will see that on the customer portal. If you select items created by customers in their organization, then they'll be able to see things that are requested by themselves or by other people in the same customer organization. Once again, in the customers application is where you'll group your customers together into organizations. This means that if you have two customers from company A and you would like them to see each other's tickets, you can choose this option. Items in the projects they are following. So you choose this one, and this means that if you've added customers as followers on your projects, then they'll be able to see the items inside those projects. This is a useful option if you do projects for specific customers. So you might say, I'm doing this project, it's for a specific customer, and I am open to them seeing all the items in this project. So then you give them this setting, you add them to the project, and they can see everything inside the project. Here, it's a combination. It's items created by customers in their organization, and items created, items in the projects they're following. So it's a combination of the previous two. They can see both those things. And once again, another combination, all their own requested items and items in the projects they're following. So once again, it means they'll see their own stuff and items in the projects they're following. This is also a common choice. If you're doing a project based work for your customers, then you'll want them to see items in the projects they're following and their own requested items. In case they submit stuff that's not yet in the project, you'll select this option here as well. And finally, the default, which is all published items. Now, published items means that the ticket will have a published status. This is like an overall rule which says if something is published, they can see it. This gives you granular level control over removing something from the portal. By default, when you create something, it will be published. You can, of course, change this default, but if you don't play around with things too much, when you create a new item, it will be published. Now, if you set it to, so this means that if you'd like to remove something, you just uncheck the published box on that ticket, and it's a granular item level control to remove it from the portal. And then, once again, you can say, yes, but the visitor can see their own unpublished items. So you see these controls here. You might decide that I'd like to see for customers to see items in the projects they are following and all their own unpublished items regardless. So this is a control that you can combine. Playing around with these two options will pretty much give you every variation that you're looking for. And just so you know, the most common ones to use are to uncheck this box, to use items created by customers in their organization, and items in the projects they are following. Those are the two most common choices to make. Usually requiring login is the most common choice as well. So take a look at my screen now. Probably you'll configure it the way I have it here, and you'll make your choice between items created by customers in his organization and items in the projects they are following. You'll probably make a choice between one of those two. If you have questions, get in touch here and we'll let you know. So that sums up what you can do and what you can show your customers on the customer portal. And if you go to the tickets section, I'll show you again. Here's where you create those custom fields I mentioned. This is the tickets administration. If you actually go to the tickets themselves in the main app and you open a ticket details, you'll see here's the published box right here. And this indicates that this item is published. By default, newly created items are published, but of course you can change that default so that newly created items are not. But you'd have to go around and remove and change some rules in the administration to do that. So once again, contact us here if you have any questions, and I hope this answers some of the basics of what can my customers see on the customer portal. Thank you.